Hello, all. In today's lecture, let us try to understand the origins of Hindu jurisprudence. When we trace through the paths of history, we could actually see that the present day Hindu law is actually stemming from the ancient Vedas, the Shrutis, which later evolved into Smritis that explained the Shrutis or the Vedas. And all these put together formed the core tenet of the Hindu way of life, the Dharma, the concept of Dharma. So the Hindu law that we look at today, the codified law that we are interacting with today, is not merely a bunch of codified law, but rather it is based upon the divine origin of the Hindu system, the Shrutis and the Smritis. In fact, it has often been observed that the oldest pedigree of any known system of jurisprudence that is alive even today and that is a living culture even today is the Hindu jurisprudence. Now, when we look at the Hindu law, it actually consists of three major pillars. The first one is the achara, the rules of conduct, the manner in which we are supposed to function in a society, which is very personal in nature. And then there is the vyavahara dharma, how we are going to interact with other people in the society. And finally, there is also the raja dharma, which is talking about the administrative aspect. So when we look at the Hindu law, it covers all aspects, the civil law, the criminal law, the commercial law, the moralities, and as well as the religious aspects of living. That is why we call Hinduism as a way of living also. Etymologically, the term Hindu has evolved over a period of time. The first phase, we could actually say that it originates from the Persian people who called the people who lived near the Hapta Sindhu or the Sapta Sindhu as Hindu. The river was called Hindu and therefore we were called as Hindus. So it was much geographically connected, the people who lived near the Sindhu river or the Hindu river. Then came the Greek translation who called the Hindu as Indol, which later on derived and evolved into that of India. And the modern day reality is that we don't apply the term Hindu in a strict territorial manner, but rather that of a personal law. So from accepting that it is a way of life, we have now come to a position wherein it is also treated as a religion. The definition of the term Hindu from the judicial and the philosophical perspectives can be looked in the following case laws. Shastri Ignya Purushaji versus Muldas Vaishyakis, wherein the court legally pointed out the etymological origin that we just saw and accepted that the people living near the Sindhu river are called as the Hindu. Then there is Bal Gangadhar Tilak in his book Gita Rahasya, wherein he outlined three core tenets of being a Hindu. He says a person who is a Hindu has to accept the Vedas with reverence, he has to recognize that there are various ways to salvation and moksha, and that he has to realize that there are a number of gods and they all can be equally worshipped. In 2005, the Supreme Court in Gopalakrishna Nair was the state of Kerala said that there is no specific defined terminology for what constitutes a Hindu. Even the codified law gives only a comprehensive expression, which is giving widest freedom to the people of all shades of opinion, philosophers, beliefs. Everyone comes within its fold. Even an atheist can be a Hindu. Now, legislatively, when we are talking about who constitutes a Hindu, Section 2 of the Hindu Marriage Act gives a very interesting definition. It says that Hindus include Lingaites, the Brahmo Samaj people, the Buddhists, the Jainas, and the Sikh tenant following people. Then it also says that by way of action or by way of default, certain classes of people come into the fold of Hinduism, such as legitimate, illegitimate children of a Hindu parent, wherein one parent is Hindu and he has raised the child as a Hindu. Individuals who are also undergoing conversion into Hinduism are accepted. Who are specifically excluded? Muslims, Christians, Parsis, and Jewish. These are the population who stand excluded from the term who constitutes a Hindu. We'll be having a greater discussion of who is a Hindu in our next video. But now, how the jurisprudence of Hinduism evolved, the nutshell answer would be it starts with the Shrutis, the Smritis, which evolved the dharma, and this dharma brought out the structural organization of achara, vyavahara, and raja dharma. And this combination of achara, vyavahara, and raja dharma has now evolved into that of the modern codified laws of Hindu Marriage Act, Hindu Succession Act, Hindu Minority and Guardianship Act, or Hindu adoption laws. There are multiple different codified laws, but all its origin comes from the basic structure, the Shrutis and the Smritis. With this, we are winding up for the day. If you have any doubts, kindly raise it in the GCR or in the YouTube section itself. Thank you. Have a good day.